You have to appreciate the fine detail put into this album artwork. Of course, we all know Nick's not actually on the moon, but at least the letter C in Spaceman is in the shape of the moon. Nick, you sly guy.
True North Reviews, True North Reviews, True North Reviews.
Hey there, welcome to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are discussing the Nick Jonas record, Spaceman. This is the fourth LP from famed Jonas brother, Nick Jonas, everybody. While he may not have the most revolutionary pop sound, Nick has easily been the most consistent Jonas brother in my opinion. Just as far as talent and singing go, those are his strong suits. Tracks over the years like Chains, Levels, and Close have kept me curious in keeping up with Nick's catalog, but with that in mind, by no means would I consider myself a hardcore fan, especially of the Jonas brothers altogether. That Happiness Begins record, just awful. Regardless, Nick did happen to catch my ears with his lead single and title track for this new record of his, Spaceman. A tad generic, but it's still slick, it's still sleek, and it's a fun pop track. Gotta show it some love. I think the acoustic guitar especially fits in nicely and solidly flows into the chorus with the trap beats that are pretty generic, but very palatable and serviceable to complement a decent hook. The hook on the intro track, Don't Give Up on Us, is also a highlight that features some downright gorgeous falsettos, quite possibly some of the smoothest transitions in register over Nick's career. Match that with an equally irresistible tune on this record, and we're off to a strong start. Unfortunately, I don't find myself praising the second track on this LP. Heights is the name of this one, and I don't know, there's just something about Nick's vocals here, they just don't seem to go anywhere ambitious, and there isn't anything about the songwriting that is adventurous either. And look, I'm not coming to Nick Jonas expecting experimental fusions of genre and him just bouncing off the walls eccentric with his vocal performances, but Heights is just flat out lazy, although I do appreciate the seamless transitions from the opener. Getting things back on track though, Too Drunk, this song slaps. Okay, super uninspired lyrics, but those vocal harmonies in the chorus, they more than make up for that, and this song is one of my favorites here for sure. Now, I haven't spent too much time describing the specific sound on this pop record, but know that Spaceman definitely takes influence from the 80s. This idea being most pronounced on the 80s homage of Delicious. This track is like Nick's very own Levels, however, more gimmicky and carefree. The percussion and synthetic horn lines actually remind me quite a bit of Huey Lewis and that style, along with some Prince-esque guitars. Delicious is 80s, straight to the bone, but it's hard not to want to dance and groove along to it as Nick's vocals are thrown through different channels. This is a very entertaining 3-minute song. What is also entertaining is the single This Is Heaven. On first listen, you might be convinced it's cliched. It's radio fluff. The instrumental sounds too much like Carly Rae Jepsen or the 1975. But after replaying it a few times, you really start to believe this is one of Nick's best songs. Again, one that might even be overproduced as radio pop, but it's a jam, and that sax solo in the bridge just puts the icing on the cake. Transitioning into the subsequent track, Sexual, spacey synthesizers start to fill the air along with some surface level references to sex, both musically and with the imagery of the lyrics. Sunrise, sunset, Marvin Gaye, it's as basic as it gets, but with the light and delicate vocals from Nick, they're still very appreciated as they switch up the overall mood of this record. Sexual may also run as average for Nick Jonas's standards, but a decent tune is on here nonetheless. If anything, this record hits the lowest peaks on the back half. The track Deeper Love exhibits a cheesy chorus and what sounds like a pan flute in the instrumental at the beginning and end of the song. It's at this point of the record, Nick is just neck deep in those 80s influences. He can't seem to shake them off. In fact, he actually finds the exact reason why these styles and trends fizzled out at the end of the decade, and that's why we don't hear these songs on the radio today. Now, it's not just 80s radio pop that Nick is head over heels for on Spaceman. He also makes it very apparent that he's into modern sounds of R&B, much of those coming on the track Death Do Us Part. Honestly, the worst song here, between the lifeless backdrop of synthesizers and the tacky ad-libbed vocals, I don't know what Nick was thinking with on this one. It's a throwaway in the track list. The random references to MJ and Pringles come out of left field, the song ends abruptly, and the songwriting is just about as soulless as some of Zayn's worst material. Enough said. Ending this review positively, though, If I Fall explodes into one of the catchier hooks on the project. And it's funny because the instrumental subtly begins as something that makes me think Nick is going to break out into his own rendition of I'm on Fire by The Boss. It's one of those moments on this record where the 80s inspiration is obvious, but still encouraging the creative juices to flow. Even the closing track on Spaceman is commendable for many of the same reasons. Nervous is well mixed with its synthesizers, it is well rounded with its performance, as much as it's a straightforward love song. Nothing too exciting, but a nice way to cap this record. Capping my thoughts overall, though, I think this album is split between some inspired moments, but also some very generic ones, most noticeably from the 80s. I think if more attention was given to crafting a consistent track list, maybe this would have fared better for my overall opinion, but for the most part, minus a track or two, Nick sticks to a single artistic vision, and for that, I have to give him some credit. Whether Nick is sounding slick or seductive, I think this is another project to go on his resume that he should be proud of for most of the songs that are here. Plus, I have to mention this, I was pleasantly surprised with how many transitions between songs kept the flow of the record from the beginning to the end. This should definitely have listeners engaged, even if their favorite track isn't the next in queue. Now, with all that being said, I'm going to give Nick Jonas' Spaceman a strong 6 out of 10. I'll have my favorite tracks listed down below in the description, but while you're down there, be sure to drop a like. Tell me what you think of this music in the comments. Whether you agree or disagree, I'm here to engage with you guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, have a rockin' day.